Big game, second game of the year, and we got, if you go with the metric sites and look at everything, this is, they got them at number 1 in the SEC. They got us number 2 is the only time we play them all year. So this game's going to go a long ways. And final rankings, standings in the SEC, if, things continue like they've done. I mean, look, they're good. They're, you kind of watch them. I mean, they haven't played any real good teams. They played some high majors and blown them out. But they're good. I mean, the metrics say they're good. When you watch them on film, the eye test says they're good. They've got a confidence about them. They got good guard play. They're smart. They're well coached. They're both good on both sides of the ball. Their defense is good. Offensively, they know what they're doing. They've got shooting. They got guys that can drive. They move the ball. They're willing passers. I mean, their point guard just had 14 assists. It's not easy to do. So it's going to be a good game. I mean, and I'm sure the place will be rocking. It's the first time since 1974 that I guess it's a top 15 matchup inside a Memorial Gym. So it's a long time. It's the year I was born. So I know that's a long time. So it's been a long time since they have had a team ranked this high, another team ranked coming in. So they're going to be ready to go, I'm sure. I would guess Duke Miles is playing. I think, on our injury front, everybody practiced today except Aiden Sherrill. And he's going to end up being a game-time decision. We're going to try to work him out a little bit up there when we get up there and have a little shoot-around tonight, see how that workout goes, see how he responds to it tomorrow, and make a decision. If he can't go, Noah's playing really well. Taylor looks a lot better in practice than he did going into that Kentucky game. Keaton's starting to look better too. I mean, he just missed so many reps all fall. So we'll have, hopefully Aiden can go. He's been one of the best bigs in the country. If he can't, we've got options at that spot too.
Yeah, you've talked about chasing an SEC regular season title and that being a goal for y'all. Do you feel extra weight with a game like this against a team as highly ranked as Vanderbilt, and just how do you approach that if you do?
Yeah, I think for sure you do. I think it, if the metrics follow and everybody stays, now of course we know that's going to change. Somebody's going to go on a run. Somebody's going to be better than what they thought. First time we won the SEC, my second year here, nobody had us in the top 2 or 3 going into SEC play. So something's going to change. Somebody's going to be better than what they think. But, as of right now, this is like 1 and 2. And just so happens we play them in the first 2 games. And we don't get them again. So there's definitely a little extra weight. But, we're used to big games. We played them all non-conference. We've played them since I've been here. We've played in tons of big games here. I think our guys are ready for it. They're up to it. Maybe a little bit more sense of urgency in this one, which would be a good thing. So we've got to come in. And I don't think you focus with the players on all this stuff, their rankings, all this. I think you focus on what you have to do to win the game. They know what's at stake, and I don't think you make that point emphasis. You make the game plan the point emphasis. And if we take care of X, Y, and Z, the score will take care of itself.
You just hit on this with you being used to big games, but how do you feel like the non-conference schedule has this team ready to have a big SEC game kind of right off the bat? I mean, you just had one Saturday too, but.
Yeah, and this one probably end up being bigger because it's a road game, harder to win. Vanderbilt's a better team. So I think, the fact that we've played at St. John's, didn't play at Illinois, but it was a road game up in Chicago. We've played some of these tough road games already. We played Arizona up in Birmingham. We played, some of Gonzaga out in Vegas. So even though they weren't true road games, they're very good teams. And I think, we had some stuff that we didn't do well in them. Some of them, some we got wins, some we didn't play as well as we wanted. Purdue Gonzaga, Arizona, even the ones we won, we got exposed on some stuff. So I think our guys have been a little more focused on what we have to work on. We're, not everybody's played the schedule. I think we've got the toughest strength of schedule in high major basketball right now if you look at strength of schedule. So, hopefully those games pay off, that our guys are used to playing in tight games. And Vanderbilt hasn't had very many tight games. I mean, to their credit, they've blown everybody out for the most part. And the metrics show it, and they've been dominant. We're going to have to make sure they don't blow us out. But if this game ends up being a tight game, we've been in some tight games here.
I know you talked about him a lot after the game, but with Aiden kind of up in the air, how big is it to get that performance from Noah and kind of get his confidence going?
Yeah, I mean, confidence is everything. He looked great in practice today. He's playing a lot more like what he played like at Bucknell. And you got to earn your confidence too a little bit. I think he's been in the gym, particularly maybe even a couple weeks going into Christmas break and after break. Like, he's been staying after practice. Like, he's deserving to play well. I think it's coming for him. I mean, just got out of practice. I thought he looked great. He had a couple moves he would never have tried a month or so ago that looks a little bit more like the Bucknell version of Noah, or SEC Noah, as Noah said. It's like SEC play, SEC Noah. So hopefully SEC Noah stays in, because it's an SEC game here on Wednesday.
Got a question and a follow-up question, if I may. So Oklahoma is bringing in an international guy mid-year from Russia who was a pro over there. I saw the comments that you had about G League transfers. Do you have the same opinion about international pros just kind of showing up mid-year like that?
Yeah, here's what I'd say to that. So, I've got Coach Fleming, who coached in Germany for an extremely long time. Was the German national team head coach. He's got a lot of European experience. Coach Adams was the head coach in the G League. The G League's a lower level than the European pro level. I mean, one of my former players, Will Clyburn, was the EuroLeague MVP. Not that long ago, he played for me in high school. He had NBA offers to play on the NBA team, like offered contract, and he would have had to take a pay cut, get half the money he's making over in Europe. Like, those European leagues pay players higher than the NBA role players at the end of the bench. They certainly are making a lot more than the G League players. So if they're going to make those pros over there eligible to come here, in my opinion, whether you've signed in two-way or not is kind of irrelevant, because you've signed big contracts over there, and these guys. Now, if you've played in an NBA game, to me, the NBA's set itself head and shoulders above every league in the world. EuroLeague top level is not going to come be an into the bench guy in the NBA and take a pay cut. But if you've played in the NBA, you shouldn't be eligible to play in college. But with everything else that they've let go, I mean, those are legitimate pros, like you said, coming over to play here. Because you've signed a two-way, because you played in the G League. If they're letting guys that didn't sign a two-way that played in the G League, I don't know what the difference is if you're on a two-way or you never played in the NBA. The contracts in Europe are a lot better than these two-way contracts. So they're going to have to figure it out. And right now, to me, it doesn't, I mean, probably asking for another court case, because it's not going to stand up in a judge's eyes, in my opinion. Like, if they try to tell a kid that's maybe been on a two-way that never played in the NBA that he's not. The other thing with me is, like, we're punishing the American kids. We're in schools in America, an education system in America, and we're punishing the kids that grew up in North America that have only played here in the G League or whatever, but we're rewarding the European kids that are coming over that played professionally over there and didn't grow up in America. So, whether you come here to play in the G League or you stay there, they'd rather stay there in their home country to be professionals. So I don't know where we get off rewarding internationals, Europeans, Russians, whatever you want to, wherever they're from, and you don't give our kids that grew up in America, played in the G League, possibly got some bad advice, maybe went to the G League, played on G League Ignite, didn't go to college. I mean, all those other guys have been made eligible, so they're going to have to figure out what they're doing. Like, yeah, would I have liked to have just kept it? You're a true amateur and you play college basketball, probably, but that ship sailed. That's not where we're at anymore.
And the follow-up question, a couple of years ago, I think it was the Brandon Miller team, if I remember right, you went into the season with only 12 scholarship guys. The reason you gave was you said you didn't think you could give a 13th guy enough minutes to bring him on. So you've shown a willingness to start a season with only 12 guys on scholarship. Given that, can you picture yourself in a future year starting a season with only 12 on scholarship and holding one open so that in December you can cherry pick whatever the team needs from Europe or wherever?
Look, if it continues like it's going, I would say that's probably a smart strategy. I mean, you're never guaranteed who's going to play great, who doesn't. You know, like you said, Oklahoma, Baylor, all them, if they had filled all their scholarships, they wouldn't have been able to do it. Now you can give them rev share, NIL, everything else, and they can pay for the scholarship. But yeah, if you don't have a roster spot open, you wouldn't be able to do it because they have limited roster spots. So I don't know that we're going to necessarily plan on that. I mean, I still think it's ideal that, you know, I saw that, is it Najee? Is that how you pronounce it, from Baylor? I saw he had his debut. You know, it was solid. It wasn't great. I mean, to try to come in and put a kid in with a few days of practice, sometimes that's not the easiest either, depending on where they're at. So mid-season acquisitions, that's a professional thing. We're turning into a little bit semi-pro professional basketball at the college ranks with what they've allowed. It's a thing. I still think the best way is to put your whole team together and keep it together the whole time and not do that. But, I mean, if you have an injury, go down and you're shallow in a spot, if they're allowing that stuff, that may be an option moving forward.
How much of a focus is Devin McLaughlin this year after having 14 rebounds last year, especially since he's kind of transitioned more to his natural spot at the 4 with Vanderbilt adding a true center?
Yeah, I mean, to me, I still think he starts at the 5. I mean, they play their 4 and 5 on the perimeter a lot like us, but then they will play him with Washington when, you know, Jalen doesn't start, but when they bring him in and leave McLaughlin in, they'll play McLaughlin more like the 4 and Washington like the 5. So, you know, kind of similar to how we did with Clowney, where we start him at the 4 and then, you know, it's the other way, and then he'd bump to the 5 when Charles went to the bench. But you know, he's good. He's definitely a focus because if you don't guard him the right way, he's capable of making threes. He's tough. He's physical. He rebounds. This team's good. I mean, there's no weaknesses. Like their guards move the ball, they shoot it, they attack the paint. They got a good system. They know how to play in ball screens. I mean, yeah. Like, have we completely put all our focus on McLaughlin? No, because they've got 2 guys. I mean, if you go to Ken Palm right now, 2 of their players, in Tanner and Miles, are both in the top 5 for Player of the Year in the conference now. Some of that goes because they're winning and they're picked to win the league on that right now, and winning matters. And if they end up winning the league, likelihood of one of their guys being Player of the Year in the conference is high. But, you know, we haven't put our total focus on any one guy because they got a lot of really good players, McLaughlin being one of them.
Yeah, you just mentioned Duke and Tyler. Just kind of what challenges do they bring?
Well, Tyler just had 14 assists. He gets in the paint. Yeah, I mean, it's like, what do you do with him in ball screens? You blitz him. Well, teams that have, you know, been aggressive with him, he's shredded it pretty well. Do you not blitz him? He gets in the paint. He scores. You know, do you drop him? Well, they're big shoot. So, like, you know, he combined with their spacing, their system, because Coach Byington's, he's good. There's a reason he's won everywhere he's been, and he's really good, and he's doing a great job now. So Tanner's good, willing to move it, can shoot it at a high level, can get in the paint. He's elite in ball screens. Miles been great playing off the ball, shooting it, making good plays, can play with the ball as well. They're good, man. It's not a whole lot of weaknesses. There's not many holes with them. So, the two of those guys both shoot it well. They can both make plays. They're unselfish. They pass it. They get in the paint and make plays. So you can't just say, oh, he's just a shooter or he's just a passer. No, they both do everything.
Coach, you mentioned everybody practiced today except Aiden. Where is Davion right now? Where in terms of just getting back into shape?
Nothing's changed with him. We don't have any. Him and Collins are kind of when I said everybody, it was with the exception of Davion and Collins. Those two are kind of no further update, status quo of what those two have been. So outside of Davion and Collins, everybody else that's been playing in the games practice except for Aiden. So everybody else should be a go unless there's some setback. London's not quite 100%. Taylor looked a lot better today than yesterday. I think Aiden Sherrill will be the only one that's kind of a game time decision.